The first person I interviewed was Dr. Laura Heath, my colleague in the mathematics department at Palm Beach State College, Boca Raton campus. Dr. Heath is one of the most respected faculty members in our college. She's known as an expert in educational technology in general and consulted by faculty and administration on issues of applications of technology in mathematics education. Although there are a number of mathematics faculty with doctorates at our school, the esteem with which Dr. Heath is held by her peers inevitably brings her to the forefront of any discussion within the college-wide mathematics faculty cluster on matters of policy, the use of technology, and pedagogy. Dr. Heath earned her PhD in higher education from Florida Atlantic University. It was awarded in 2008. Dr. Tunjanika Coleman is the Dean of Academic Affairs at Palm Beach State College's Boca Raton campus, and she also currently holds the position of President of the Association of Florida Colleges. Dr. Coleman's leadership abilities have gained her respect throughout the state. Her utilization of her educational background as a springboard for her success as a respected leader and decision maker, and her position at the table as a person of authority regarding statewide educational policy decisions made her, in my eyes, a valuable interview subject. Dr. Coleman earned an EDD in educational leadership with a concentration in adult and community education from Florida Atlantic University with a concentration in adult education. It was awarded in 2001. Dr. Anna Porro is a mathematics faculty member at Palm Beach State College. Although she does not work on my campus, she has been a prominent figure in almost all college-wide discussions regarding mathematics department matters. Her intelligent, cogent, and always evidence-driven approach to so many topics that are of interest to me has gained my respect, along with that of her other colleagues and administrative figures. It was her outstanding ability to so intelligently contribute to projects and discussions that are of interest to me that made me decide to request an interview with her for this project. Dr. Porro earned a PhD in educational leadership from Florida Atlantic University with a concentration in adult education, awarded in 2011. It seems that the decision to study for a doctorate can stem from diverse life situations. Dr. Heath embarked on her educational journey along with a friend who is also a math teacher.
We decided to work on our master's degree together so that we could teach at the college level as well as make more money. So we finished our master's degree and I started teaching as an adjunct, and she went on to earn her EDD in education leadership, and she inspired me to earn my doctoral degree.
Dr. Porro found an opportunity and took it. She said, "When I first joined the college faculty, I had to complete 6 credits approved by your supervisor. When I attended my first 3 credit course, I found out that you could earn a specialist degree and it would count towards the PhD later. The specialist degree allowed me to complete 42 credits in 7 years, hence giving me the chance to work full time and be a single parent of 3 children while going to school at the same time." As with the last question, similar initial educational paths were motivated by different reasons.
I think the biggest goals for me was I wanted to be able to work with adult students. I have always been the person that has wanted to pay it forward. There were a lot of people that have supported me throughout my tenure as a lifelong learner. And my goal was to be able to take the knowledge and information that I had learned with respect to how to succeed at the college level, but also how to apply what I learned academically to the real world. There were some things that I figured out that I said, you know what, I would really enjoy working with other students who were a lot like me. I was very fortunate coming up, but I was not in a place in which I was, not impacted by the environments around me, and knowing that I had a lot of friends who were economically disadvantaged, who may not have come from the same stable home life that I had. And my feeling was, I feel that all students should have the capacity and the ability to have access to a high quality education. And so part of my goal the largest part of my goal has been to be able to afford some of those opportunities for others.
Dr. Poro said, "From the beginning, I knew I wanted to stay in the classroom teaching. In many of my leadership classes, I was the only teaching-oriented student. The rest were aspiring administrators. I was very lucky to find excellent professors that would relate the theory to a classroom setup."
So, and my goal at the time was to become a college administrator.
While Dr. Heath's goals have changed since obtaining her doctorate, Dr. Poro's goals remained fundamentally the same. She said, "No, I always wanted to teach. As I started taking classes, I realized that there's always something more you can do to help students succeed. And since then, I always add something to my lectures every semester. For example, I've added more PowerPoint presentations. I've used clickers for instant feedback on student responses and many other activities in the classroom." Dr. Heath's goals have changed. Rather than become an administrator, she decided to make use of her education in the classroom.
My decision to not be a college administrator, I guess, came as I was, of course, I'm a math professor, and I really enjoy teaching, and I know that's my passion. And I did become a department chair, and that gave me a taste of administration. And I found that I enjoyed being department chair. I thought I did a decent job at it, and I enjoyed learning more about the organization. However, I felt like my passion was still in the classroom, so I'm very happy to be a professor.
My colleagues were happy to let me know what aspects of their doctoral experience were difficult.
The readings were very time consuming, and the leadership courses were challenging. Some of the group projects presented their own challenges of working with others. I was part of a higher education leadership cohort, so I got to work with a lot of the same students on the core courses. And what was most helpful was forming study groups, which helped me to be more accountable and prepared for courses. Um, Definitely the readings, when I took higher education law, the readings were very tedious and time consuming, and I just had to learn to scan more than read word for word, so in order to keep up with all of the reading assignments.
Dr. Poro said, "By far the most difficult challenge was the data analysis chapter in my dissertation. The second most challenging aspect was the juggling of my full-time work schedule, my 3 children, travel teams, and what classes to take." Dr. Coleman felt strongly that her doctorate has helped her to accomplish her professional goals.
Have I realized those goals? I believe that it's ongoing. I think that that has fueled my motivation to keep going in administration. I had the opportunity to speak this past weekend. I was an MC for a big women's event, and I paid it forward by inspiring, hopefully, and motivating others that were in the room to plant seeds of greatness and positivity in other young ladies. But I also gave a thank you to a wonderful administrator who retired from Palm Beach State College 10 years ago. She said to me, "It's been 10 years since I retired." But I said to her, I remember the day that I sat across from her desk 20 years ago. And I said to her, I was talking about how I love teaching, it was so amazing, etc. And she said, "You are a leader, you need to be an administrator." And I said, "No, I want to stay in the classroom. I'm doing a great work where I am." And her words to me was, "But we need people at the table like you that can affect change and policy. And when you're at the table, you can impact more people." And so I never forgot that. So it was beautiful to thank her in front of a room of people, to be able to say I hadn't looked at it that way, but she was absolutely right. I think for me, It's been so rewarding, this particular goal, because it's exceeded my expectations. I've not only been able to encourage, inspire, motivate, and be there for students, but also for faculty. New faculty that are coming in the ranks that have dreams and aspirations with respect to whether it's pursuing an advanced degree, whether it is developing programs, whether it's writing, whether it's research, whatever it is, speaking, consulting, to be able to impact their life greatly so that they can exceed their own expectations and reach their dreams. To me, if I don't do another thing, I will be happy.
I asked what kind of experiences I should gather that would be important for me in my doctoral experience. Both Dr. Heath and Dr. Coleman felt that it was important as a doctoral student to network and to make contacts with other people in our field.
Absolutely. In my doctoral program, I took courses in history, finance, law, and organization and administration of higher education. And those courses helped me develop a better understanding of the many issues of higher education. And since I work in higher education, that's definitely a benefit. In a few independent study and experiential learning courses, I worked directly with college presidents and vice presidents and other administrators, and that really helped me to work well with colleagues and higher ups. And I also attended and presented at national conferences, and that helped me build connections at the state and national level. And those connections really came in helpful as I worked to complete my dissertation. And those experiences helped me to be more confident in my profession and able to work well with administrators and colleagues.
I would say to you, if you could find a professor that is actually doing active research in the field, in the local community, you want to try to connect with them because it makes it easier for you to be able to see how to apply your work to day to day. So if it's in educational technology, case in point, I am going to be speaking in a few weeks at the Florida Association of Instructional Materials for K-12. And so you may be thinking, well, how does that connect to higher ed? Well, we have a large dual enrollment population. So what has happened is that dual enrollment population has impacted the budget for instructional materials and technology at the K through 12 level, which that will be part of what I'm speaking on. But it also makes me think about what are we doing with regards to educational technology and instructional, and how does it impact the materials. Open resource is a huge issue that's on the horizon. So my point is being able to partner with her and understanding this is what the data is showing me, this is how it impacts what you do on a day-to-day basis. To be able to look at the data and do projections, it made the process very real for me.
Dr. Porro and Dr. Heath both stressed the importance of preparing for your dissertation very early on in the program. Dr. Porro said, in every class you take, do a project related to the topic you would like to do the research for your dissertation. This way you have a good body of research already collected. Dr. Heath said, I recommend coming up with dissertation ideas early on in the program so that any assignments you have, you can gear research towards the topic of your dissertation. I recommend forming study groups to help you along the way and looking for mentors to offer guidance. Finally, make sure your dissertation topic is something that you're truly passionate about. Dr. Coleman had advice regarding the dissertation committee.
Number 2, pace yourself. Be very organized. Force yourself to be organized. Be very selective in who you put on your committee, because who you put on your committee can impact how seamlessly your process is. You want to do, I had awesome advice from Dr. Pat Maslin-Ostrowski, who said to me, make sure that you front load. So my committee tore my dissertation up 3 times before I made it to defense. So a lot of the horror stories that I would hear from my colleagues at defense, I never experienced, because I had already been battle tested prior to that. So I think that that's very important for you to make sure that you do that.
Dr. Coleman shared some final advice regarding the dissertation.
And do have fun. Think about sharing your information as you go along with your colleagues. Get insight from colleagues from different disciplines. And don't be afraid to try to share your thoughts and communicate what your thesis and your research is about to those who have no background. What I did was I practiced with them, and when they asked me questions, it helped me to be able to look at things from different perspectives.
Dr. Porro echoed Dr. Coleman's advice regarding the accepting of criticism. She said, "It was funny how my dissertation chair would correct her own writing from draft 2 to draft 3. Everything in life is just an opinion, and to be successful, you need to accept that it's okay that others see things differently." When I asked my interviewees about what they may have done differently if they had known what they know now, they had this to say.
I think at the time I was aspiring to be a leader in higher education and become a college administrator, but my career aspirations have changed, and I'm now more interested in instructional design and how a student's mindset affects their success. So perhaps if I had waited until now, I may not pursue a higher education leadership, but I would certainly pursue a doctoral degree, perhaps in curriculum instruction, really focusing in on mindset and growth mindset and mathematics.
Dr. Porro said, "My program was heavy on leadership theories and administrative processes. After I started it, I found out there were other programs geared more towards learning and curriculum, which I believe would have been more in sync with what I was and am doing."
One of the things that I wish that I had known when I started out my doctorate was the importance and the value of setting research goals for myself postdoctorally, particularly as it pertains to my subject area of expertise. My mentors did a very good job of supporting me throughout the process. Um, I did not realize how cutting edge my research was at the time. And so, because of that, and you're kind of working through the process, I did not take enough time out in that last chapter. Yes, I had the chapter that discussed this is what you could do postdoctoral. These are great studies that you can do as follow up studies. But I wish that I had actually sat down and said, okay, these are the conferences that I need to make sure that I go to in order to keep the momentum going with my study. These are the publications that I need to subscribe to in order to make sure that I continue the voice of those students who are taking these courses. This is the contribution that I could make postdoctorally. I wish I would have given more time to that because I think there's a lot more that I could have contributed. I think I did a good job, but I think there's a lot more that I could have contributed to the field of distance learning by strategically knowing, okay, this is the next step and this is what I could do for this. When people usually hear about my dissertation topic, they thought, wow, you did this back in 2001. It's been 17 years. You have got to go back and do another study. By now, I should be on the third study, technically.
I asked, "What general advice can you leave me with for people just starting out in a doctoral program in education?"
I recommend having a support system in place and having balance in your life. In my case, my husband was very supportive and gave me time to work on my studies. In fact, he would do his bike rides while I go work on my classes, and he bought a new bike and I bought a new computer to work on my dissertation. So, he was very supportive in that way. I made lasting friendships with my colleagues in the cohort, and their support helped me through some of the difficult assignments. And I would also advise to make time for yourself as a student. Give yourself a break every once in a while and enjoy. I really need a nice work-life balance is important.
Dr. Poro said, in your classes, every semester try something new, and at the end of the term give students a short survey for feedback on whether to keep the activity or toss it. For yourself, be patient and don't lose sight of the end. It will come. Dr. Coleman had these last words of advice.
Tell PhD students, one, no matter what, you don't give up, you keep going. Two, be ready, there will be obstacles, that's okay, you will survive them. Three, receive constructive criticism, be okay with it. You have to have tough skin, but trust me, the information, you can use it, it'll be valuable to you. Don't be afraid to get insight. Don't be afraid to get insight from people from varying disciplines, because you want people to see things from a different perspective. But also think about, what can I do with this data beyond the dissertation? Oftentimes PhD students, we finish, we're exhausted, and we are like, I did this research, I'm done. But you're really not. I can say that even though I have not followed up momentum-wise with the research like I would have wanted to, I've published. I did publish my dissertation. I did some articles as a spinoff. So, that part I did. But I want you to think about, what are some of the next steps while you're fresh and you're open to doing things. Think about, okay, when I finish this degree, I may take a break from writing for this amount of time, but what do I want to do? Do I want to do poster sessions? Do I want to do workshops, presentations? How can I take myself to the next level? Do I want to partner with my peers? I'm starting to partner with my peers now on different things, and that's been very helpful to me. So I know that was a lot, but I think that is very helpful to you. Right now, you're consumed with the now, but think beyond that. You'll be better positioned.
Not unexpectedly, there were common themes that ran throughout all three interviews. A doctoral degree in education, whether it be a PhD or an EDD, comes with certain challenges that must be met with flexibility, with tolerance of other points of view, and of constructive criticism. The theme that I felt was most important was that of maintaining foresight throughout the doctoral experience, to keep your eyes on your goals, to prepare for your dissertation from the beginning, and to keep sight of where you plan to go after you complete your dissertation.